$12:34. Happy Friday, everybody. Welcome to Storm Talk. Several things to talk about today. So glad you guys are here. Hello to Crispy. We have Christy and Crispy. DJ's on. Hello to all the Angelas. Hello, Carrie. It's freezing there. Everybody go where Carrie is up there in Indiana. All right, guys, let's dive into it. There's several topics here. Obviously, the main headline is going to be the weekend and some of the changes that we're going to cover on that. Happy Friday to you, wave meteorologist Brian Good. We're going to cover that aspect and some good news to share. If you didn't catch the midday show, there will be some good news to share on that about how things are looking down the road. But there's several things in between all that we still have to cover. That's going to get a little messy out there. Lottie already commented about how you're sweating so much just walking to the mailbox. Was it Brad? Somebody said that. Yeah, totally understand that. Yesterday I was out in the weather garden at the 4:00 show. We're a little trapped, of course, in the weather garden. There's not much way to move air ever. The heat index is 113. Now that's pretty high just because of where I'm standing. But some of you will get close to 110 at times the next few days. So trust me, it's a steam bath. I'll be out there this afternoon just because it's not comfortable wearing a suit and being outside in that kind of humidity, let alone just being out there in like tank top and shorts. But I feel for you guys that have to work out on this. Some of you do, Sean. I'm thinking of you when you have to do that. Yeah, it's just it's instantly sweating in a matter of minutes. And when you're out there working, even if you're in good shape, just take it easy outside. Trust your signals from your body. This is not anything record-breaking that we're dealing with, but we have not had too many surges of heat like this summer. It's been relatively tame for what typically a summer can be like around here. So it's just going to stand out a little more. So our bodies are not as adapted to this as we normally would be by this point in August. So it can take a little bit of a toll on you. So use some caution out there. Hello to everybody. Hello, Tiffany. Hello to someone said Brian Burgundy. Never been called that before. I mean, I get it, but That's funny. All right, Weather Prediction Center, you see Wavy popping in. We're going to talk about that. That's about the flooding potential that really hasn't changed a whole lot. But we're going to shake things up just a smidge and show you guys a live look right now at Honolulu. Oh, man, oh, man. Now, I'm sure you guys can guess why I am showing you Hawaii right now. If you haven't been paying attention probably to the news. And if you haven't been paying attention to the news, trust me, you're about to hear a lot about it in the next couple of days here. But what a pretty shot. I've never been to Hawaii. Has anyone been there before? It's always on my list. It's the flight that I can't get past my mind. Same as going to Australia. I would love to go. I just don't know if I can do the flight. But anyway, Hawaii. We are talking about Hawaii because obviously we have a potential hurricane heading toward the Hawaiian Islands there. Say hello to Layla. Everyone say hello to Layla. Hi, Layla. You don't have Hawaii money? I understand, boy. Totally understand. It is expensive. Okay, so this is staining out. Now they have near misses almost every hurricane season. I feel like we have at least one that gets close. It's tough because of where the islands are in the Pacific. You tend to have more of the you have the westerlies that are kicking in above this, and then or westerlies, excuse me, and just south of the island chain, and you got the easterlies north of there. Well, the problem with that is you end up with a setup where it's really tough to get tropical systems to get this high up into latitude very often, and the water tends to be fairly cold actually around the islands compared to just south of them. So a lot of times tropical systems just fall apart when they get into the island chain. Now, as you know, this is El Nino year. The Pacific is warmer than normal. That's one catalyst, but it's also set up that the wind is relaxing enough to allow for the system to travel more to the north. It is a tropical storm, forecast to become a Cat 1 later tonight, early tomorrow for the Big Island. Now, what is fascinating about Layla is that it doesn't happen very often that you get a landfalling hurricane. They've had several tropical storms, but a landfalling hurricane, last time that happened, you guys, I know when it happened because you probably watched it happen. And that was back in 1992 when Hurricane Nikki came through the island chain because Steven Spielberg was there filming Jurassic Park. And it turned out they needed a hurricane to film in the storyline for Jurassic Park, and they got their wish. Nikki happened to actually hit the island while they were filming the scene when the power outage took place. So when you watch Jurassic Park, that is actually a hurricane. That is a Nikki. So it doesn't happen very often that you get a hurricane status at landfall. Now, it's forecast to be a weak one, but we'll see if it gets that declaration and makes an official landfall or not. If so, it'll be in the books for that. But either way, it's going to be, as I always say, there's not much of a difference between a strong tropical storm and a weak hurricane. Impacts are the same, and it will be messy. We have a live report scheduled later today from Hawaii. We actually have one of our stations with Gray is in Honolulu. Maybe I need a transfer. But they get snow in Hawaii. They have snow year round in Hawaii. But it's not exactly the same kind of setup on snow as we have here. But anyway, you get into the island chain there, the live report we're expecting today. They're going to be talking about how the elephants are very excited about this because it creates such a mud bath for them. I thought that was kind of a fun additive. You don't always hear that with hurricanes, that elephants are excited about it. And they probably weigh so much, it'd be hard to move them around anyway, right? Especially since it's been a weak system. And a good question. Someone asked about the named systems. Yes, the Pacific has different names, a set of names than the Atlantic does. On the Atlantic, we have crystal ball, so we're on our third name system in the Atlantic. We may get Dolly is next in the coming days. That'll be later next week. But the Pacific has a whole separate list. I think this is where my name is on the list, Brian. It's the only ocean basin is the Pacific, but it's not on this year. But anyway, Layla, I don't want to talk too much about it because it's pretty far out there, but just wanted to mention that. I thought it was kind of cool. Don't always get a chance to talk about that very often. Okay, well, back here to reality. We have lovely, hot and humid weather here, and it's all about the humidity. All right, the sunny aspect of this is really hard to tell in many spots because it's so hazy out. I mean, it's just that very washed out looking sky. You don't see the blue sky, but you can tell because you're walking around. You see a little faint of a shadow when you walk around. So the sun's making it, and it is heating things up. We're 86 in Louisville, already 90 in Munfordville. Hello, Bardstown, 89. At Indiana, you've had some clouds all day in your area, so that's been more of an issue on keeping your temperatures down generally into the 70s in that region. So that's a good thing for you all for now anyway. But as we've mentioned, it's about the humidity. So the dew point right now running at 80 degrees at Fort Knox, 75 here in Louisville, 78 in Bardstown. Air you can wear. So let's factor that in to the current temperature. Feels like 95 right now in Louisville, 104 at Fort Knox, 103 in Bardstown, 100 or higher just about everywhere in central Kentucky. Indiana, the saving grace for now because of the clouds. So because of all of this, it's obvious we're going to have some alerts, right? So for today, the heat advisory is out roughly where a lot of those 100s are. You probably could argue that Nelson and Marion, or Nelson and Washington may need to be added into that as the day evolves. But either way, precautions are the same. Even in Louisville, it's same idea. So heat advisory technically out in that orange area. Excessive heat warning, that's when you get to about 110 for the heat index. That is in that magenta color out west. They have already issued, though, a heat advisory for tomorrow that expands into Louisville and southern Indiana. And that's flexible because we are expecting at least some interruption with either a high deck of clouds or thunderstorms that may shake things up as we head into the afternoon hours for tomorrow. So that may change a little bit on the heat, but either way, as of now on paper, that's likely to be reached. Okay, so for an example, the heat index tomorrow afternoon in Louisville right now is expected to be about 109. 109 is common in many spots. Otherwise, look at Tell City, 112. Jasper, 110. Oh my goodness. Just stay inside. What about Sunday? Well, it's up there, but not quite as high in Louisville. But not much of a difference. But Sunday is another day too, where clouds and thunderstorms may interrupt the heating. So there is some bust potential on our temperature forecast, and that's been our worry all week long. As the data has been coming in, the Euro especially has been trying to get us over 100 for an actual temperature several times this weekend. But not only has it been humid, but a wet ground. And the idea that the storms have just not been lining up with the models very well. All lately, just a lot of, nuances here that don't lead to high confidence on the heat being matched exactly as the data is showing now. But at least you know that this is I would say this is the worst case scenario will be these numbers you just saw there for Saturday and Sunday on the heat index. But there's some potential for something less aggressive there because of the storms. So let's get into that. In the last 24 hours, we had the thunderstorms yesterday. The HER model didn't see a single thing, by the way, yesterday. And we had this basically MCS that dropped in and survived long enough to get thunderstorms all the way into Indiana there. But we had that band of thunderstorms that really picked up intensity once they crossed 65, got close to warning level in Shelby County at times. So you guys got a nice little downpour around the parkways. Once again, you were missed. Okay, so let's get into the current setup. Now, I've got this on a very sensitive mode on the radar. So this is not rain you're seeing. It's really humidity being detected, actually. But the radar's on sensitive mode because we had these thunderstorms. Our worry about last night, this morning, was a band of heavy rain sitting up near around North Vernon and Madison. The data was hinting at that, and that was a concern. Well, it did develop, but it developed 60 miles north. Good for you guys that got missed, but bad for I-70, where they have a lot of still catastrophic flood warnings that are out for that area of around Indianapolis. So it's been a mess just to the north there. But because of all that thunderstorm activity, that pushed out that little cool wave that you saw the temperatures in the 70s in Indiana. That little ripple or the outflow has made it all the way down into southern Kentucky. And there are really a couple little waves out of that. They've been just slowly working their way south. These are like little mini cold fronts. So these will be some of the focal points for the storms to fire. So you can already tell by looking at the clouds on the satellite around Evansville, see how they drift back north again after the boundary is passed. That's what will happen as we heat up today. the air is coming from the south today. So as these boundaries have shifted southbound, eventually we're going to see everything reverse and come back north. And as soon as that reversal happens, thunderstorms will begin to pop. Officially at Ollie International, we have a north wind. It will soon be a south and southwest wind, and that's when we'll have to watch for a few gusty thunderstorms that can develop. We get into a water view, and you can really see how that outflow just raced out of these storms this morning, all the way down toward WKU at the moment, while the main boundary, is still stuck there, producing the heavy rain near I-70. Okay, but as far as severe today, it's a little bit more hodgepodge on that because the wind field, the tailpipe, better placed along the front, the boundary. That's what's driving most of the constant showers and storms along I-70 to at times closer to I-71 as you get into Cincinnati. However, the fuel, the heating of the day, is displaced more on the southern side of the Ohio Valley. And that's where you got a lot of the area capped when you get into a really hot scenario. But where we have this overlap of the two, that's where we could get some of these showers and storms here to pop. Just enough of an imbalance. And these boundaries have been absolutely crucial the past several days on where the storms pop. And the models just do not catch these little finer details very well. You almost have to throw the modeling out completely. In fact, in many cases, we have. We just have to just look at what's going on the satellite, determine the boundary, keep an eye on the wind direction, track the humidity, and as the heating goes, we will be able to pick out areas where storms will begin to pop. There is a low-end chance to get some isolated severe thunderstorm warnings today, mainly due to downburst, not so much organized severe weather, but one or two of these cells can get tall enough before they collapse where you can get a strong enough wind that a warning can get issued. Not going to rule that out. Most of it, though, is just going to be about heavy rain. Rainfall rate today is 2.1. That's pretty up there. It's been up there for a while, and it'll stay up there for the next couple of days. Your slight risk, a little bit more where the tailpipe has got more of an overlap where the sun's trying to come back out in the upper Midwest. A little MCS coming through. And that's later today, actually, into the evening hours that will be moving in. But that will be a factor for tomorrow. So let me show you that outlook. So here's today's. This just updated. You saw Wavy post it. It hasn't really changed a whole lot. Now let me show you tomorrow's outlook. Now there's a slight risk, and you can tell when you see it an angle to a slide or any kind of outlook on severe weather. You can tell that it's a track usually of something. And in this case, it is an MCS that moves to the Midwest as we get into the overnight hours and early Saturday. And then we'll begin its lovely track on the edge of the Ring of Fire, which is our heat dome that is building here, which is the reason why there's no severe outlook. When you get into West Kentucky, the heat is just pushing in. So the air is just capped in West Kentucky and Tennessee. But right on the edge of that is where your storms will fire. Now, what has been an issue the past several days, the models have picked out where the core of these MCS has been forming. But what it's not picking out very well are the tail. Again, it's almost like a comma shape on your keyboard, the comma key. The tails that we got to watch, that may very well fire storms that could easily form all the way back to Louisville before dropping down to, say, London, Kentucky. It's not for all areas tomorrow, but if you are certainly near 65 and east, you're closer to the storm track. We'll just see how things look tomorrow, but something to watch. That's one of the changes we've had for the weekend. The other is the fact that the boundary settles back south again on Sunday. Now, most of the severe risk is going to be more so Sunday night. So I don't know how much of an interruption we're going to see in the heat on Sunday just yet. But either way, these outlooks cover day and overnight periods. So majority of this is going to be more into the late night hours on Sunday. But still, everyone is in the zone for at least a chance for a stronger storm. Okay, so as far as tomorrow's storm chance, I know some of you are asking about your plans, about how to plan out your day. We're going to go with the main time period as you get a little closer to sunset. That's when they should fire into areas of Ohio and Indiana and then drop down. So we'll aim for that window. But again, it's not for all locations. Again, the modeling hasn't done best. We'll be watching it carefully. Chris Evans, started comment about the other models. Yeah, the RFS, it updated today, but it updated. I knew something was wrong when I looked at the new model run that came in. It was showing a chance for flurries this weekend. And then I realized it updated to March. is what the model reset to. That's not a good thing when the model goes backwards. It goes back in time to March. Anyway, I was excited for a second. And then reality hit, like, well, Brian, that's not going to happen. But anyway, yeah, the models are kind of. Can no one hear me? What's going on? Did something happen? Someone says, I can hear you. See, I got to keep an eye on you guys. I'll turn away for 5 minutes and y'all start misbehaving. Somebody gets something started. All right. It's usually Todd Richmond, but I think Todd's behaving so far today. Todd's not even paying attention. He's asking about when people graduate. He's not even paying attention to anything I'm saying. All right, everybody can hear? Okay, good. All right. So there's your rain chance for tomorrow for, I would say Louisville, this is fair. But remember, if you're outside the storm zone, you're not much to worry about here. So we'll place it along in East 65 Sunday. Unfortunately, it's going to be, everybody. We'll have a chance at the thunderstorms. I still think, though, this is going to be delayed more so into the nighttime hours. And if we don't have as much cloud cover or haze from whatever happens Saturday night, then the temperature forecasts will be realized there. Now, the front that settles in Sunday will continue to be an issue into Monday as well. There's not a lot of wind energy with this front. It's much weaker than what the I-70 corridor is dealing with. Still, you can get some isolated severe thunderstorm warnings, nothing too wild here. I know we've had a couple of tornado warnings the past couple of days with some of these cells. You tend to get that when you get the commas, the MCVs that form. When they develop, you can get enough rotation that we've had even a couple that have touched down. So that's where your tornado threat will come in. Otherwise, your general storms that just pop, most of them are going to be just downburst related, not organized enough to cause a tornado outbreak or anything. But when you get into these outflow boundaries and these little complexes, MCSs, these complexes of storms that form, it gets a little more complex, and they're usually very brief. But obviously, it just matters if it can touch down at all, even for a minute or two. So I can't rule out an isolated tornado warning until the front passes by. But majority of this is going to be heavy downpours, a lot of lightning. You hear that thunder and get inside. Remember, lightning can strike you at least a good 10 miles from the thunderstorm. So if you hear it, even if it's sunny overhead, get inside. Todd says, by the way, I'm paying attention. You said something about weather. You're doing good. You're doing good there, Todd. He's always on it. Now, here's the good news about this front as we head into Sunday night into Monday. The front necessarily, it doesn't really cool us down. I mean, compared to mid-90s, yes, we're looking at upper 80s. I don't think that's a huge difference, honestly. I think it's still very warm, but the humidity will be dropped. So we will have a little relief for about 36 hours that'll arrive for mainly Tuesday and the parts of Wednesday. It's very short-lived. After that, another round of heat and humidity will build in just in time for the first day of the Kentucky State Fair. Not a shocker there. Could get some storms with that. There are signs of an MCS that may form along that front and move in at some point around that Thursday. But it's not all bad news, because after that passes by, then we get into this lovely little pocket of not only less humid air, but cooler air that moves in as we head into next weekend. And there are signs that some in the Ohio Valley, I don't think it's going to be here, but some in the Ohio Valley may not get out of the 70s for highs with sunshine. Now, we've seen that happen before, right? Even like last year it happened for the Kentucky State Fair. So it can happen. It's nice when it does happen. This year, I think we have at least a chance. I don't want to lock it in completely. I like the data today has been, they're all friends today, all the modeling on how this will play out for next weekend. But, we've seen it be yanked away before, but at least something to look forward to. So that will likely last for a few days, and then we'll probably see another surge of heat probably at the very end of the month into September. All right, let me get to the 10-day and then get to your questions real quick. 90s in general. Some of you may go higher than what I have listed here. So don't get too hung up on, if you hit 96 versus 92 or anything like that. There's going to be a range here. It's just too in flux to lock in a specific number for everybody. The heat index, though, I think everybody has a chance to see that over 100 for sure. So that's what matters. And I still think Saturday night, I just don't think Louisville's going to get below 80. I think it's going to be a very tough night for our ACs to keep up. And then we'll get that reset and then the storm chance for the fair. And then we'll go lower 80s right now, excuse me, for next Weekend. Okay, so what questions can I get to? Angela, humidity with your asthma. Oh yeah, yeah. I suffer the same issue with asthma, and it's yesterday I was out there. It was the first thing you notice. It's just hard to breathe. The air is just so much thicker because it is. It's in your lungs, so your lungs have to work harder to move. So it's the same as like a really cold day in the wintertime for asthmatics. Not a good thing. Hey Joshua, a pattern shift to cooler temperatures. It's always when I'm trying to do the log. Show
That's the only time I get to see you before.
What? You see me all the time, Myra. Where are you going?
The restroom.
Oh.
I just saw you were in here. I wanted to say hi.
Oh, hi, Myra. Yeah. Yeah, we will. See ya. It's really, she just wants the limelight. I never get a moment. Sorry, Joshua. She interrupted. I think that we will get some cooler shots, a little more frequent, but it's pretty wild. When I looked at the September pattern, you get a cool shot and it's a rapid surge of heat again, then cool, then heat. I mean, it really is dramatic back and forth, but it is transient at least. I don't see either one really locking in yet. So it could be worse. It could be worse. What'd you say, Sean? The bots enter 4,000. You remember the days when well, it was here wave when John Belsky was here, all them the future radar 3000. Do you remember that? I always thought that was so cool when I was a kid. I still do. Crash on 65. Oh no. Brian. Flurries, yes. Any alert day potential? Yeah, there could be. I mean, there's our alert days do kick in for excessive heat warnings, by the way, which is that 110 level. You saw we're close. So I can't rule it out for that. But also if we see a chance that the MCS, especially the one tomorrow, if it's more of an influence on more of the area, or certainly for the highest populated area around the metro here, I can't rule out an alert day that could come out. That will be probably on Carson's shoulders. I don't know if he's watching right now, but I'm sure he's thrilled that what is going to be a mostly quiet weekend for him. All right, he'll get some quiet time, but at the same time, it's a lot of babysitting of the pattern too. When you can't trust the modeling, you just got to constantly keep up with the nowcasting, and that's a 24/7 job. The polar vortex, Cameron's already asking about that. I haven't gotten that deep yet in the winter forecast. I start working on it on September 1st. Although I've been trying to not look at sneak peeks, but I've been doing it. Let's see. You've jinxed him, yeah. Oh, it's okay, Stacy. That's all right. Hey, I have a senior moment every single day. And it's always tough when your phone's getting connected to the car. Any deratios? Don't see a deratio set up. I know that we had that deratio the other day. Carson needs a break. Yeah, Carson does need a break. It'll get some time here, but he's always on it and keeping an eye on any changes. Any other questions? Kevin misses the good stuff. Kevin's had he's had some of his bigger events. I mean, he's been here like 500 years, but yeah, he always at the same time seems to escape some of the recent ones. We all kind of joke. We all faced something when we're out of town that happens back here, and it always is. It's hard to take time off when you know something's happening back here at home. You want to like relax, but you can't because your anxiety is high. So it's like, and when it comes to being a meteorologist, I don't think you can really fully disconnect unless you get on like a cruise ship when your phone's doing work anyway. That's about the only time you're just completely disconnected. Otherwise, it's really tough. Are the tropics quiet because El Nino? They are. You have a lot more shear, a lot more of the dust has been coming in this year, especially. But there are going to be a lot of last minute storms. So there's a couple of waves we're tracking. That's why I think we could get Dolly soon, but they're not going to really develop more until they get closer to the United States or the Caribbean, which is not good. The last minute stuff is annoying, but that's about the only way I see much happening this year. And there's not going to be a lot of them developing out to the Atlantic, way out. You may get some northern Atlantic ones, to be fair. But those are the ones already on their way to England at that point. They're already moving away from the country. Illusions. Well, this is an interesting question. How stable and large is this heat dome? In years past, in the 80s, the high locked during an overus. Well, that's the subtropical high that you're referring to there. That's the main one. But when you get a drought that is placed in the spring in certain parts of the country, we have seen that influence where you end up with a dominant heat dome as well. And this year, this spring especially, it's been a little odd. The past few springs, really, we've had winter lag for a while. Not to the point where we have a lot of snow that's lingered later than normal, but it's been colder than normal than we would like as we try to enjoy spring. And that has really been thrown off. The delay has been really just thrown off in general how these heat domes get established because it influences the rain patterns too. Right now, a lot of the drought has been more centered to the Ozarks area down south. And that's where the center of the high pressure is dominant over a drought. And that's where it's really dominating for the most part in that area of the country. So that's a little bit more southwest of us than it is southeast of us. And your Bermuda high is typically over Bermuda. And we get more of that southwest flow. We haven't had that very often this year. We've had the high displaced enough that we've been constantly dealing with energy coming in from the Great Lakes and the Midwest instead. So good observation. It can easily snap back. Even for next summer, even later this summer, we could easily see it get reestablished. The rainfall patterns are key. The lack of a hurricane or landfalling tropical systems in general that can shake up a drought and improve it in the deep south, the lack of tropical activity is leading me to think that it's going to be really tough to change the drought outlook here the next several weeks. So I don't think you're going to see a huge amount of change just because of that alone. But you could still get some hot spells for sure, but it's going to be hard to lock it in. We happen to be in a reasonably good area. I mean, Paducah has had a way hotter scenario this summer than we've even had. So it's been very close, very, very close. In Indiana, even a different climate, right? Hey, Kentucky Joe, how you doing? Are you coming to the fair, Joe? I hope you're coming out there. We'll be out there on the 25th. I think I'm live. Most of the day I'll be live for that Tuesday, the 25th. Of August. So I'll be out there. The whole team will be out there. So come out and say hello if you're able to. I tend to roam around sometimes, so I always try to find the animals. I can never remember which animal is on which rotation, though. I know it's always different from one week to the other. I always go look that up, though, because you got your favorites. Chris Evans talking about El Nino enhance the second super weather season. It could. Very well could, as the subtropical jet really ramps up as we get to when El Nino maxes out, which would be roughly December. The theory right now is yes, that it would enhance the tornado potential for areas that have been quiet all summer. Fan club meetup. I know we need to still do that, but we can have a mini one at the fair, right? But I know we still need to do one for the blog. I still think it'd be fun to all of us get together. Mary's going to try to make it. Thank you, Marianne. I hope you can. Mark, please make this storming pattern stop. I'm so sick of it. I hear you. I've been trying to take care of some stuff around the yard, but at the same time, it's just constantly been dealing with rain. And then I want to take care of things even this weekend, but it's going to be so humid. I'm getting older, not as easy to be out there, and I wouldn't recommend it. Meanwhile, I keep thinking maybe Dobie misses his walks, but at the same time, Dobie is definitely an indoor dog. He is not one to be outside. Even on pretty days, Dobie just does not want to be outside. He likes the couch. That's not a good thing because he's putting on a little bit extra weight. But please take care of your pets this weekend. Don't leave them outside for very long. Take care of the paws. Don't take them walking. You guys know the drill. Fair enough. All right. I'm going to stop rambling. You guys, it's Friday. I appreciate you taking your time. Even Stacy joining in her car. I appreciate it. You guys have a good, safe weekend. Carpsville, keep an eye on things, obviously, this weekend, and we'll be in early next week. And we'll just look forward to maybe some good, fair weather that will be coming our way. We need a nice little break. And I do see one coming, as you see there at the end of the 10 days. So something to look forward to, right? All right, guys, have a good weekend. I will see you guys on the flip side at 3 o'clock with that lovely Myra and Sarah.